and go over to my YouTube channel and hope that everybody can hear me. Because it's always the audio that gets me. Except last time. Apparently, the last stream that I did here on YouTube was removed because of a video part. Because of that footage of Mandy, the Nicolas Cage film that I included last time. And, pardon me, Belgie. Lesson learned. Made a mistake. Meh. They are very, covetous of their copyright. And, of course, one must never abuse the works of the great Cage. So, lesson learned. I consider it my fault. So, yeah, what we're doing right now is I am just putting in the last remaining colliders, replacing and fixing the last remaining colliders that were lost, a couple of, about 10 days ago. I thought we would be able to get it done in a week, but we couldn't because of various cycles. I mean, number one, I was the only one who could really fix most of them, and I need to take a day off yesterday. My hand was really aching, and I wasn't feeling very good. I made some crazy ceviche out of, let me check. Out of like some scallops and some, my audio is very low. High. I'm going to take that down a little, because I made a crazy ceviche out of the scallops and lemon juice and these Indian pickles that I just love so much. And yeah, they were very tasty, fully cooked, in the ceviche manner. But unfortunately, I guess that just made me ill. So I took yesterday off. I didn't even get near the computer. I spent the entire day sitting on the couch watching, television and paying attention to kitty cats, which is a great way to spend a day. Hello to our one viewer. And as always, I always have to start this. This is not going to be an exciting cast. It's going to be just me, again, working on some miscellaneous detail of the game, because it all has to get done. This is me fixing these stuff. And hey, I always say, this is something that I also do as sort of a public service announcement, because understand, game development is 99% this. It isn't just, playing games and such. It's just going over the very small minutiae of your world, sometimes losing that work and having to do it again, sometimes for the fifth time. But hey, hello. By the way, is my audio all right? Could somebody who's watching just do me the courtesy of telling me if my audio and the level of the music is okay? Because I never know how to get that. Because I did a whole live cast once, and the music was so loud, it was obnoxious. Yeah. So, anyway, other than that, I could talk. I was always wondering, what should I talk about? I should talk about Peace Island while I'm doing these, because in later podcasts, I mean, not podcasts, but streams, I've been, I've been talking politics. Quite frankly, I don't. I'd rather keep politics out of these streams, because again, we have people of all political stripes that contribute money and love the game, and I don't want to put anybody off. So no more of that BS. It looks like we may be missing colliders there, but I'm not going to be bothered about that right now. There's one last place that we have to redo the fence colliders. Let's see here. I believe these are good. They may not be, though. Hold on. Let's just see here. I may have, be stupid. I may be a bee. I may have lied, or in addition, yeah, we're missing colliders on the bike fence there. So really, I have a couple more fences to do. So you get a front row seat to. Hello, James. Hello, James. How are you doing? Thank you. Yeah, I thought it was just going to be this parking lot over here, opposite of the red house. I forget who lives there, but I know somebody important. Yeah, getting rid of these residual, just lazy colliders that a certain someone did for the game back when I thought that, again, I'm going to just write a book one of these days about game development. Sometimes you just, well, there's so many things I've learned. So, let's see, I'm going to remove. Because those are lazy. I don't like it that the cat can. Maybe I can offset it just a bit. Hold on. All individually. Hmm. And I could talk about popular media like movies and such. I watched, I don't, I'm not much of a Clive Barker fan, but for some crazy reason, no, I'll tell you what. For I knew somebody back in the day. I have a soft spot in my heart for the Hellraiser franchise, even though it wasn't really ever meant to be a franchise per se. And even though it seems that now Clive Barker's abandoned his own, property, but yeah, I lost another person there with talking about Hellraiser. But well, no, the thing is, folks tune in, and they realize it's him just moving crap around again. And yeah, well, hey, it's life. Such is life. I got to do it so other people can suffer with me. Ha ha ha. Oh, James. Oh, yeah. You're the guy in England, aren't you? You're the illustrator, right? You were here, I think, one night when I was working on, this one location within the game, this art installment in the middle of the woods. I believe I remember you. But hey, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. I keep on saying I want to start streaming earlier again for people in Europe because when I started this whole thing of streaming dev, it was wintertime here in Maine, and that was when the sun set at 4 p.m. And I don't know, I got just changes in my schedule, but I would really like to maybe Tuesday. Let's see, I'm going to be streaming Tuesday. I'll be streaming here. Probably I'm going to try and make it 4 p.m. Oh no! Tuesday is going to be a beautiful day here in Maine, and I'm going to be heading out to the island, probably with maybe Laurel go along. I just need to take advantage of the beautiful weather, get a little bit of spring air in me, and take advantage of going out to the islands when they're nice before all the tourists arrive. There's just a very short window, and Maine is Maine for us. Well, for the people who live here, then it's Maine, the tourist. I mean, it doesn't help that our license plates say America's Vacation Land. We literally advertise, come here, spend money. So it's not a bad place. I mean, I love it here. I came here on vacation. I liked it so much I freaking moved here. But then again, I was living in New Jersey at the time, and moving. I mean, come on, anywhere is a step up from New Jersey. And the crazy thing is before I came up here and I lived here, I was like, oh, come on, New Jersey. Who has a problem with New Jersey? It's okay, man. It doesn't have any other problems no other state does. Oh, oh, no, New Jersey deserves the reputation that it has. It just does. And here's the thing. The people in New Jersey, I'm not dissing them at all. Come on. I mean, you go down, we have like our, street arcades. We call it out like the shore, the Jersey Shore. And you can buy t-shirts there that are like, I heart NJ, but instead of the heart, it has a garbage can. I mean, that's what Jersey people are very, very candid about what their state is. I mean, the New Jersey state government, their big like publicity push to promote their state to like get people to move there was New Jersey doesn't stink. Literally, that was their campaign to just go out to the people and go, hey, you may have heard that our state stinks. Well, it doesn't. But I mean, don't even bring that up. But I guess some people are like, oh, go, address what everybody else thinks about your state. And no, it does stink. It doesn't stink as much as Tennessee and Nashville. Tennessee, because New Jersey does have good environmental, laws as far as, vehicles and stuff. But there are just so many people there, and it's just so tightly packed, especially around the New Jersey area. It's got a little bit of an odor to it. It just is. And yeah, I didn't realize until the last year that I lived in New Jersey is there is a park that was within like about a mile's walking distance of my apartment that was bigger than the islands, one of the islands of Casco Bay that I routinely visit. In fact, larger than two of them. And I never went there. And the 10 years I lived there, I think. Except I did walk through it. But I mean, here's the problem: is even in the heart of the park, you would always just hear the constant traffic because it's surrounded by traffic. Go figure. All right, so now we got to go back and address these MFers, these fences. Let me take a look at these guys again. Yeah, I don't blame you if you drift off or tune out, by the way, James. Oh, Hispano, hello. Hey, we have another viewer that talks. That's great. Hello. Yeah, I'm finishing up the last of the, colliders that we lost. I just got to do these here because I think people should be able to, like, target jump through these, even though there is no practical, as far as, like, game writing goes. All of these balance beams and such on the outside are mostly to just acquaint the players with, this ability is open to you. Most of the climbing stuff you're going to encounter as far as gaming play is going to be inside of the interiors. So it's just mostly adding realism. And the first time that the cat actually does these things is going to be during a tutorial at the very beginning of the game, you know. But we're going to make it short. I mean, I remember, we all remember Skyrim and that yeah. What was it? I mean, how many minutes of the game? But here's the thing: I cannot get angry at Skyrim because everybody seems to give Cyberpunk 2077 a pass on their just. I mean, honest to God, I streamed it here one night. The first half hour of game, I think the first literal hour of gameplay is you just sitting there and waiting for people to stop talking. It's just so dull. And it sounds like maybe somebody is texting me on my messenger. I just have to turn this off. Sorry. I was looking at Nehru right there. Oh, sorry. Yes, Scotty. Okay. Yeah. All right. So yeah, Cyberpunk 27 was just, I mean, it was just never ended with that game. I could never ever just make it through that opening, like, literal hour plus of gameplay where it's just, yeah, you gave you the option of fast forwarding through it. But honest to God, it was just awful. I could never get past it. I mean, I got it on sale, so it was only like $30, and maybe one day, maybe I'll get some brain damage and I will want to play it. And I won't look back at that purchase as a loss, but for the time being, I mean, honest, it was one of the most boring. I mean, when I was like, Cyberpunk 2077, literally just sitting there for the lion's part of an hour, just answering questions that had no influence upon the game's activity or flow or the story, regardless of what your choices were at the beginning. It seemed, by the way, that whatever, choice you made at the beginning, whether you chose a corporate or an outlaw or whatever, you still had to go through that same hour plus crap at the beginning, and there was no variation of it. And I just get the impression that the only variation that those different beginnings had was that it would be like that, what they did in Skyrim and those other games where they just do a word replacement where it would be like, nice to see you, Outlander. I have a mission for you. Or it'd be, nice to see you, corporate swine. I have a mission for you. I think that's the only thing that really your choice at the beginning has anything to do with. I just found it just, God, the worst. And I played it on the PC, and I am absolutely aware of the console problems. And bless the people who play consoles. I don't. So, I mean, I had no complaints when controls were concerned. Because the PC version has been more or less steady since the very beginning. But, I mean, I'm not saying that to brag, because, again, I played it. I'm not a fan of the game. Again, and by the way, I don't mean to say that you need brain damage to enjoy this. And if you enjoyed Cyberpunk 2077, that's absolutely cool. I mean, again, You cannot make a game for everybody. Literally, game development is that one place in life, yeah, that really reflects, that rule that you can't please anybody. It sounds like somebody, my friend Scotty, may be still pinging me. I'm gonna turn that. Oh, Lance. Sorry, I gotta let Lance know. That's our Scott Coder. Okay. Okay, BRB streaming on VT back in 45. I think I'm 15 minutes in. I don't know. And yeah, I mean, I enjoyed. Gosh, what was a game that was almost universally panned, but I enjoyed? I forget. Oh goodness, I can't think of one actually. I'm such a cynic when it comes to games. I mean, I should talk about games I really enjoy because that's the thing. I mean, half of gaming journalism is all about dissing games that you don't like. I mean, that's all of it, and doing it in a funny way. So, I mean, if I'm going to talk about something while I'm doing this very boring work here, I should talk about games that I like, so you'll get an idea of where Eric's mind is as far as gaming. By the way, as far as what Laura likes, Laura is a big fan of old school gaming. She's a big fan of Spyro. She's a controller gaming, Tony Hawk, stuff like that. But the thing is she likes stuff that she likes in real life because she's a skater. She dug things like Monument Valley. I mean, we both loved Monument Valley. And I mean, that was sort of, I mean, Monument Valley really got Laura and I talking about doing it. I think that was one of the first conversations we had about, hey, maybe, maybe sometime in the future we could do a game. Because it was, I mean, if you've not played Monument Valley, it's a game for mobile. I think it may have come out for, Windows over on Steam. I'm not sure. But it's just a very pleasant puzzle game. No violence, no running away from anything, no death or anything. But it was enjoyable from beginning to end. It just was a feel good, nice game. And it did have a little bit of a story to it. And that was one of the first games that got us thinking about making games. And I'd have to say, as far as like mobile games, I really enjoyed that. Was the biggest time sink for me was FTL, and that is definitely out for Windows. FTL is sort of like a space roguelike game. Oh God, I played thousands of games of FTL to try and unlock every one of the ships, and I got to the very, I think I got all of it except for two, when I lost, my iPad got misplaced, and here's the thing, I, in the end, did not like having an iPad because it's just was something that always found its way into my lap. And I just literally didn't like the way it became a habit to stare at it all the time. So I got rid of it. But yeah, FTL, if you're not aware of it, it's this top down, and I'm going to deviate from game development for just a second so I can show you. Yeah, I'm selling sea glass on eBay, by the way. FTL game. It's this top-down game where you're like just basically controlling the spaceship, and you start with the whatever, and at the very end you gotta conquer the boss of all spaceships. And man, it's endlessly challenging and enjoyable. And but man, that was a big time sink for me. So I gotta go back to this. And by the way, this isn't a one-way conversation. If anybody wants to talk. Oh, yeah, if anybody wants to talk about, yeah. Oh, well, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, there was this one point where just as the enemy spaceship blew up, I got the message that somebody was beamed aboard, and the last member of my crew died just as he beamed aboard. So this guy beamed aboard, like, I think from a slave ship, to find himself all alone in a chart. I mean, literally, it told great stories. It was it was one of the few examples of a roguelike that was just, oh, so good. And, I mean, by the way, roguelike is just a fancy way of saying randomly generated game. And the people who make roguelikes will say, oh well, actually it's not. Uh, uh, Somebody's talking in the background. Let me. Oh, it's not totally random. It's random within certain parameters. Well, yes, of course, it's not completely random. Of course, that goes without saying, but it's still. I mean, roguelike does develop just basically depend on a random number generator. That's how it's run. But then again, aren't all games run on a random generator number generator when you get right down to it? I just want to make one last review to make sure that I did not miss any of those rustic fences. And it's crazy that I never put any of those more rustic fences out on the far side of the island. I mean, especially up here by Ellison Farms. I'm suddenly like, why didn't I ever do that? But no, I know why. Because again, the federal government took over this land in 19. It was basically grabbed under eminent domain by the federal government. And so they got rid of all that to be able to build a battery there. So, answer my own question. But yeah, it's kind of crazy that I never did that. Yeah, all the fences out here are stone fences. Yeah, I think I'm in the clear. Yeah, but let me see other games that I really enjoyed. On mobile, really FTL was the only one that really grabbed me. Um, Only time I ever played Minecraft was on mobile, and I mean, here's the thing: is when I played it, I mean, I was unaware that it was a creative tool more than anything else. It's not a game. It's actually, I mean, the thing. I mean, I realize now that that whole zombie thing was just thrown in as as a probably just some sort of challenge, as an afterthought. I was unaware that people had built like literal one-to-one scale or like replicants replicas of entire islands in Greece, and stuff like that. And actually we have somebody is rebuilding Peace Island inside of Minecraft. She streams it, and I need to get back in touch with her because I would really like to see what she's doing. Um, it's just that I'm so rarely on Twitch. Now, I'm going to do something this is going to be something that is going to strike you as just so, like, obtuse and redundant, but I just want to do this because, no, I could do this really simply. I am just really severely ADD, and I can forget stuff from minute to minute, even when I'm medicated, and I need to just grab these terrains underneath. Yeah, there we go, and change that X. Great. Because I need to remember which of these go to. I'm going to basically put them inside their own prefabs and then port them over. But first, I have to put them in a new scene. And it's great, by the way. Oh yeah. Sorry, no, I was just checking to see if any messages. Please, by the way, tell me of your favorite games. I'd like to hear. Or talk, for people watching in the future, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment. What's your favorite game? We're very interested in learning. Actually, we are, because we are. I mean, we do have an audience, and we'd like to know, what games you really enjoyed. Oh, it looks like I also grabbed something that was not supposed to be there, but oh, I didn't grab this. Okay, I think I could figure out math-wise because this is 680. 660, so that's 670 there. And we only have fences really on these three. So get rid of those. Yeah, I'm going to say, even though these see, it's right there on the edge. I'm just going to toss it into that terrain because, if I were really anally retentive, I'd like put one leg of the fence in this terrain and the other one in that one. But that's insane. No. So we're gonna call that what was it, 760, right? Yeah. I think oh yeah, other games that I enjoyed. I've already talked about like my love for Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. If you haven't heard me do that, I mean, I'm glad to like praise that game to all heaven. I mean, here's another reason why. And I will just add another praise that I forgot to add last time. And it's going to be 760 Reg Fence. And I'm going to take away these peanuts because I'm again eating peanuts. And I am unfortunately expectorating peanut bits. And it's just gross. So anyway, because it just, I guarantee you it's not exactly driving the viewership here. But games that I enjoyed, I mean, the only Half-Life I ever played, can I just say, was Half-Life 2. And that is the time, it just happened at a certain time in my life, I think when I turned 38, I started getting wolfen sickness, motion sickness really intensely whenever I started playing like any sort of 3D shooter, first person. And so I never really got into Half-Life. But I understand it has like one of the richest lores and such in all of gaming, and I can only respect them for that. Um, by the way, I never dragged those. Right? Yeah, I didn't drag them all. Great. Missed a couple. And this is 760. Hold on. Something's kind of wacky here. I didn't get that name right. Like I said, I'm my ADD and I have to keep this stuff in. All right, so again, 660, 680. So it would have been 670, right? Yes, okay, that was my mistake. Damn it, sorry. So anyway, yeah, I never got into Half-Life. But then again, I've never been much into shooters. I played my fair share of shooters throughout the years, and I've never been, much of a fan of the genre. And it was even before, motion sickness kicked in. And I played a lot of those. Strangely enough, I'd have to say one of the most memorable shooters I've ever played was Stalker Shadow Chernobyl, because it was an unapologetically Russian game. And I mean, that was back, before things got really crazy between, us and Russia, back in 20, but then again, we've always been this way. Let's see, Reg. And if I messed up the name again, you know what? I can just go back and I'm just going to call it Butt Fence and I can change it later. And let's see. Other big franchises. I played GSX, I forget, Deus Ex. I played that, but I was never. Here's the thing about the game Deus Ex is that when I got it, I was told, oh, you're gonna get such a deep and impressive and such story. It was deep, impressive story to somebody who's never listened to Alex Jones before. That's the thing. I walked into it having heard like people ranting about crazy stuff like the Illuminati and the Masons for decades. I've always been like interested in crazy conspiracy stuff. It's always been an interest of mine. So I mean, all that stuff that was introduced in Deus Ex was just sort of yeah. So I don't see anything really novel here, even though I really like. I will say, in that franchise, how they made it, there were always several solutions to a particular level, and it depended on your style of play. And I really like that element of Deus Ex. And by the way, if any like Puritans are out there and I'm mispronouncing the name, please forgive me. And yeah, I really didn't like how the third game or whatever it was, Human Revolution, ended with the zombies. That was just such a letdown. I mean, it was the biggest letdown in the franchise, IMHO. I mean, come on. But then again, everybody's... No, actually, I think the Invisible War, the second Deus Ex game, was universally hated as the worst. That was the first one I ever played. And And I just realized because my name. There we go. We want to just copy that right over 6. Now let's go. And but yeah, I here again. It just seemed. I mean, here's the thing: is I can't diss them. I'm gonna get in the habit of not dissing other developers. I mean, except for well, they are AAA developers, but I really should. I mean, I'm always supportive toward my fellow indie devs, but I really should be more respectful, and I'm going to be more respectful to like other developers. But I don't know. There was just this. Let's see. Here's the thing: is and again that has to go into the here's the thing file. Here, I have it dying for now. Maybe it was considered to be an original story because up until that point, nobody had done a game with those sort of Alex Jones sort of narratives. And for that, I mean, yeah, maybe they deserve a little bit of credit because no one had done that before. But to me, it was just sort of, I was overwhelmingly disappointed by Deus Ex. But what was really crazy is I remember playing the first Deus Ex, and this was back when I was really poor and couldn't afford much of a computer. And I remember the graphics causing my computer to just almost crash. And now when I look back at that, it's like, oh my gosh, just so primitive. It almost looks like the Dire Straits video, gotta move those microwave ovens. And to think that was crashing my computer at one point. But then again, didn't that happen to just about everybody? Let's see, copy. And we got to go back to our Veg 16 scene and stick those in. And I'm not going to save because you're all witnesses. I saved that. There was a game called Prey that was released. And it's not the new version of Prey. It dealt with like this Native American guy being like abducted by aliens. And they had Art Bell in that game doing like the radio announcer's voice, which I thought was pretty cool. I only played the demo. I played a lot of game demos because I was always poor. I couldn't afford anything, but for a great deal of time, games were, they'd always give out the first level for free or something. And I played a butt ton of those. Let's see. And other games. I think I've already gone over to the PC side. I can't think of any game that I've really played on my phone other than Solitaire. A lot of Solitaire. Hundreds and hundreds hands of Solitaire. When I'm in, the back of a cab going somewhere or waiting for a cab to show up because I don't own a car. Let's see. Other games, I will say that I waste Satisfactory. I played that for a great deal of time, but I mean, I was expecting a payoff in the end. Other than, we're just trying to add more content, so just hang out and whatever. That was a big disappointment. And, I mean, to see those speed runs and seeing people doing 23 minutes, what literally took me about, 3 months, just drove me up the wall. So, yeah, I played that. RimWorld. RimWorld caused me to miss meetings and dinner dates and stuff. RimWorld was I had to delete it off of Steam because it is just not safe to have around. RimWorld, it's just too addictive, and because the way I play, I started off with just about the worst scenario that I could. I always started my people out in the middle of the Arctic with absolutely nothing. And of course, if the game started with a cat, I would immediately started because I knew eventually they were there was going to be cannibalism and that pet. Oh, they were going to be on the menu probably before a human. So I really liked RimWorld. 6, 7, I did. I mean, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. I've already gone into that. Just trying to think. Nobody's mentioning the games they play. Dang it, guys! Come on, guys! Tell me what games you guys like. I got into Dark Age of Camelot. I think I mentioned this the last time I streamed, and if I didn't, I'm just going to go over it really quick. I literally played that for a year. I'm not proud of that, but 6-0. Yeah. But in it was what it was, and it was fun for its own purpose. And I think it was still back when I smoked cigarettes. It was that long ago. I never got into World of Warcraft. I had a few friends who did. This woman that I knew back in Seattle, she spent several years on it. And a cartoonist that I really, really, and a fellow artist, because I don't know, I still sketch from time to time, but he was an artist that I really loved. I wanted him to do some work on the game, but he sort of disappeared. And it's like, I'm not going to get into politics, but apparently, he's gone onto the pro-Trump, pro-Proud Boy side, and he's one of those few people in the world that I'm willing to go, fine, dude, I like your art. As long as you're not out there, like, beating people up or whatever. I mean, I don't care about your politics. I love your art to the point that, but unfortunately, last time I talked to him, I don't know, he had gone a little bit in the brain, and I don't know, because he'd been working night shift for many, many years, and that does mess with you. All right, so what I'm going to do now, and this is going to be incredibly dull, guys. It's just going to be me talking. Oh, a portal. Portia? Baldur's. Oh, Gothic. Yeah. I played Gothic 2, I think. Let me just see. Because I only recognize it by the map. Let me just see. I think I played Gothic 2 all the way through twice. No, did I play Gothic 3? It was the one with yeah, this. I played Gothic 3, I think. Yeah, this is the one I played. And man, that was a really well done game. The way that the first time I played, I got guided by like this merchant or this trader into Varant, and that was my way into it. And it was like another one of those cases where it was just beautifully shot because you were at the top of a mountain looking out over this desert. It just faded off into the horizon, and you were still in the forest, so it was just beautiful shot. And yeah, I really but I forget the combat was a click fest. It was a click fest, and I really didn't like that. That was the thing that really dropped me off in the final thing about Nier Automata. And that's its own thing, because let me get into Nier Automata in a moment. But I want to explain what I'm going to do now, and you're going to just see this is just painfully boring, but I have to do this. I eventually have to go through every one of the sectors and fix apply all changes to all the chunk oven outputs and their child objects twice in a row. And it's just going to be me doing that now for basically the rest of the hour. So I'm sorry it's going to be boring, but I'm going to talk about gaming. Because Portia was Portia and Baldur's Gate. I never played Baldur's Gate. So you could tell me about that if you're still there. But yeah, this is just going to be me doing this. Selecting the parent object, going in, selecting this two child object, seeing if there are any overrides, applying them, and then going back to the parent object and applying the overrides yet again. And it's just going to be me doing that over and over about 22 times. Yep. So that's what you're going to see. But I could talk about games again. Yeah, we lost somebody there. Yeah, no. I mean, there's boring and then there's boring. I could say I've never played Baldur's Gate. Oh no, I did play Baldur's Gate. Was it that part of the Dungeons and Dragons franchise that they came out with? It was one of those top-down. Let me see. I think I did. I think I played Baldur's Gate 2. Let me just see. Let me just see, because it's just from the top. Yeah, I played Baldur's Gate 2. I remember that. because it had one of my favorite voice British actors in it doing voice acting. Yeah, I remember I played that. Yeah, yeah. That was really good. I have fond memories of Baldur's Gate. I never played one, but I have fond memories of it. Really great sound design. I mean, when you were in that market, maybe it's a portion of the city, but I mean, I just remember, the you hear the merchants talking, and I remember it changed during night and day. It was, yeah, and for a top-down 2D, isometric, really good graphics. I think it was one of the last isometric. It was definitely the last of my isometric. Well, you said they're going to do Baldur's Gate 3. Is that going to be a Baldur? Is that going to be like another isometric top down? It would be cool if they stayed true to that. Or are they going to go the Bethesda way and just turn into a 3D for FP, first person one? Please tell me because I'm working. I don't have the time to look it up on the internet. There. David Warner? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, David Warner. He was the voice of Evil in Time Bandits. Yeah, I could listen to that guy reading reading a oh, it looks like the ivy was kicked out of this. Let me just see. The ivy might. Yeah, it looks like the ivy accidentally. I could listen to that guy just read, a grocery receipt. Oh no, it's still in there. I see it. It is still in there. That's just redundant. Control Z and just delete that screw. Yeah, that's a redundancy. Okay. Yeah, that guy. He just, man. Yeah. And Spellhold. I mean, I can't even try and do his voice. He was just so good. But yeah, and yeah, but I maybe that's another game that maybe if I ever got just a low level flu or something, I was like, man, I don't feel like working on the game. Or maybe once Peace Island is done. I mean, I have my dream of what I'm going to do, by the way, after Peace Island is done. I'm going to just go to Greece. I'm going to go to one of those Greek islands and just like hang out on one of those for about a week. And maybe just bring a laptop with me and play all those games that over the time that Peace Island, I've been working on Peace Island, that all racked up. And maybe I could just like sit out there, and drink ouzo and play with. Except I hate ouzo. Ouzo. Oh, I hate Annecy. Is it anise or Annecy? I don't know how it's pronounced. But yeah, these people are tuning in. I should just keep the game going. By the way, for people who are tuning in, yeah, I'm just going through and applying all of these overrides to all these chunks so that I can upload them to the server and make sure they're there so I can sleep tonight because we just finished all of the repairs. Tonight is basically finishing all the repairs on my side from that loss of data, and it's sort of like, yay, I'm going to be able to sleep easy tonight after that. But unfortunately, before I do that, I have to go and do this just bookkeeping work of going through here and just doing all these thousand. Well, no, okay. It's about 5 actions, 22 times, so it's about 110 actions. Anyway, but Baldur's Gate, yeah, I have good memories of Baldur's Gate 2. Never played Baldur's Gate 1. I remember playing Wolfenstein games, and here's the crazy thing about playing those Wolfenstein games. It's like, I did have my grandfather. I have him. I will. Crazy things happen in history, and every time I was going there, I do have I was just going through these, and I was like, are these my relations I'm shooting here? No, of course they're just computer, but I literally had grandparents who fought on opposite sides of World War II. Even though my grandparent on my grandfather on my maternal side, he fought on Iwo Jima, and my paternal grandfather, he was one of those people that worked as a rocket scientist with Werner von Braun and Peenemünde and all that. And he was sent out at the front. I forget because I think they were just, I mean, it was the last couple of weeks or months of the war, and they were just sending everybody, And so he was sent out there and yeah, I have his army paperwork over there. But I mean, he did it. I mean, my grandfather, I mean, I'll say he was bigoted toward my side of the family because my father married a non-German. I'm just going to let that lie there. that's the kind of guy my grandfather was. And I, well, what am I going to say? I know I have no control over my grandfather was, but anyway, yeah, I have that in my family. Can I just say, Mom, geez, if one of the people that's watching now is my mom, come on, Mom, we have to admit, Grandpa, he really likes some words that we really can never say, never ever ever. And yeah, he would have a hard time getting by. I mean, in a world where a Confederate flag is, outlawed or banned, he would have quite a few things to say about that. But again, I have no control over who my grandparents are. But anyway, a little bit of family history there, and that's why I never played many of the Wolfenstein game. Plus, the last Wolfenstein a game I ever played had. I mean, there was this very popular psychic person named Blavatsky back during the age, in the 30s and 40s. She had a lot of followers among, the people, the cult. There was a great wave of neo-paganism going on at that time because World War II had shaken people's faith in traditional things like Christianity. So there was a resurgence and interest in traditional religions, and Blavatsky was part of that. In the last Wolfenstein game that I ever played, she was portrayed as this sexy, witch in black leather, Nazi gears. No, that's just insane. So I never play. Well, I mean, also because in so many other things, I don't like shooters. The whole like relations thing. I mean, if I met my relations, if I could go back in time, I mean, if I were in a combat situation, I'd just be go, "Hey, could you tell me why you were into this?" I mean, I mean, there were a heck of a lot of people, and geez, I need to shy away from this. That were just, I mean, they were just drafted into the thing. They didn't want any part of it. But a heck of a lot of them left when they saw the writing on the wall. When the plebiscite was held and Hitler, when they did that plebiscite in Germany, where it was just like, do we hand all power to the Nazi Party? And it was just this one box that said yeah, and another one that was nine and smaller type down below. And geez, at that point, I'd be like, okay, don't. I mean, I think I have some relations over in some country, maybe Switzerland. That yeah, but and again, the reason my grandfather did on that side fought in World War II, on that side is because again he was drafted at the very end when everything was wrong, and I think what happened when he got to the front was him and his buddies were just like dumped there, just like they're doing with the Russian troops, just dumped out there with a couple of rifles and maybe enough food to last them a couple of days. And they said, got together and said, the Americans are this way about 5 miles. The Russians are about that way about 5 miles. We've been hearing about what our government's been doing to the Russians. So maybe we should go over to the American side because they may be a little bit. And that was his entire service in World War II was going, deciding which side casting his vote among his battalion to decide, figure out, okay, which side do we surrender to? That was it. In fact, I'd like to think that, and I do have his handwritten wartime journals, including his time in a Western POW camp with sketches and everything. That's one of my treasured possessions over there. I found him in my father's papers after he passed away. But I'm going to get off of Nazis because I've lost 2 followers, and we can get back to gaming. I'm trying to think other games that really stood out to me in my memory as a developer. In retrospect or at the time. Oh God, can I just say I have to put this in. I am so upset and disappointed at where they took the Saints Row series. I freaking loved. Oh, sorry, kids. Saints Row. I mean, I was playing Grand Theft Auto 4, and when I got Saints Row, I was like, forget that. Forget Grand Theft. Saints Row so much better, and I loved what you could do. I mean, in my first playthrough of Saints Row 2, my avatar looked just like Kim Jong Il, the father of the guy that's in charge now, and I always had him like this red print floral dress, and it gave him the voice of this Hispanic Chicana gangster woman. And it was just delightful all the way through. And even that fourth game, the one I think it was the one where it was like a simulation of some sort, and it was like aliens. I still love the hell out of that. The dubstep gun, and I always had my character. I mean, that playthrough, I just had the fattest character, and he always went around in a G-string, just fat ass. And by the way, I mean, just softing, large, healthy weight, shall we say. But I always made him as fat as possible. I always just found him just hilarious, running around in high heels. But anyway, it's my I did that because of my affinity for John Waters movies and drag queens. But anyway, and by my affinity for drag queens, I want to just specify, not sexual. I just admire people that go out on a limb and are just themselves, you know? And drag queens, they are that. They just let it all hang out. They are who they are, and I can only respect that. And also, during the Stonewall riots, they were the stormtroopers of the Stonewall riots, which were the watershed, event in gay rights here in this country. Heterosexual myself, by the way. Um, I just happen to know a lot about history. I do. And anyway, they were the people that night when the cops busted in there. The drag queens were the first people who fought back and said, "No, we're not going to take it anymore." And so that's why, again, I mean, if I'm going to have a character in Saints Row, yeah, why not a huge softed drag queen, baby? And anyway, Saints Row, and I hear what they did with the most recent Saints Row, and boy, they just, I don't know who made the decisions that they anybody out there played Saints Row, the previous Saints Rows, and understands where I'm coming from. I mean, that game, I mean, Saints Row series was like, let's take Grand Theft Auto, make it 10 times as fun, and just add a whole bunch of craziness to it. I love those games. And what they did in the fourth, or the most recent version, they made it about a bunch of college kid teenagers who are trying to pay back their college student loans. And the writing in it is, I mean, it was done before GPT chat, but it's almost like if you said to GPT chat, please write something but make it extra lame. I mean, it was like watching an episode of Always Sunny in Philadelphia, in which all of the characters are, maybe, Catholic priests, and they all just go around doing good and such, and they never drink or curse or do anything reprehensible. That's what it was. Because, I mean, when you played Saints Row, you wanted to, like, drive a sewage truck and blast feces at buildings as a part of your. That was fun. I enjoyed that. And also, I mean, cancel. Insurance fraud in that game, that was just always enjoyable. Like having your character just get hit as many times as possible. Love that game series, but they really dropped the ball. I do not know why. Everybody's wondering why, because they had a winning formula. Everybody was waiting for the new game, and when they released it, it was absolute crap. The only way that I can maybe justify it is that maybe perhaps the developers did what the Wachowski sisters, or sister, Lana, I believe, did with the Matrix, whatever it is, the most recent Matrix. If you are not aware, the most recent Matrix movie was absolutely horrible. And yes, there are some people who find things that they enjoy out of it. No judgment if you are one of those people. But to understand, it was made intentionally to tank the series on every level. It was the most expensive Matrix movie to date by far, and it was crap because again the Warshawskis were given basically two options: either you guys make a sequel, or we're going to hand it to somebody else. And what happened was I forget what the other brother, but I know the younger brother I think is Lana. But the other, I'm sorry, I called them brothers, misgendering. I'm very sorry, Warshawskis. But the older sister said, "No, I do not want any part of this." And the younger one said, "Okay, we're going to make an intentionally horrible Matrix movie. It's going to cost a shit ton of money, and we're doing this to ensure that nobody will want another Matrix sequel, and we're going to make it expensive so that the studio will feel, they'll remember, oh my God, that cost us $200 million and it was universally hated. We're never going to do that again." That is what the Matrix, that's what the Wachowskis did to the Matrix series. They intentionally shot their baby in the foot. And I can't blame them, because we've seen Hollywood. They would have just milked it to death. So, and I think maybe that's what happened with the Saints Row series. They maybe intentionally tanked it, because I mean, what I saw of it was just absolutely horrible. I mean, they made the combat worse. They made everything worse. And I mean, the only thing that resembles that similarly was, again, the Matrix movie that I saw. I was like, yeah, everything was worse. As if I tuned after I made it 45 minutes in, and when like the crew members on that ship were high fiving the little robots, I was like, okay, I'm out. I'm out. This is like Michael Bay Transformers level stupidity. And I was so gratified when I learned that, yeah, the Lana just went in there and intentionally wrecked the place. So bless you, Lana. I mean, I know that it sucked, but again, I don't think they wanted to do it. No, they didn't want to do another Matrix movie. So she did the hard work of doing the film that nobody wanted. You know, there's a guy on YouTube by the name of Renegade Cut, and he did this very long video about how he considers it the most beautiful film he's ever seen. And bless his soul, he does a lot of very good critique videos and such. But I mean, I apparently he did that before he knew that Lana did intentionally the worst film that she possibly could do. Yeah, I think we're done with all of those. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to do something even more exciting. We're going to close Unity, because I have to upload all of those sectors to the server, you see. And it's I feel more secure in doing that with Unity closed. I should go on to more games, because I got off on movies, and we're at 57 minutes. So I think by the time we finish this upload, we're going to be done for the evening. I thank everybody who tuned in for the evening, and might view this in the future. And I'm sorry if anybody's shocked that I do have. And here's the thing about my family. Families are, I guarantee you, unfortunately, that there were scions in my family that were in concentration camps as well. So I'm sorry if that part of my family history shocked anybody here, but it's an unfortunate. It is what it is. Because again, we can't choose our ancestors and what they did. And the reason my grandfather, by the way, was brought over to the United States after World War II was he was one of the rocket engineers that we brought over to help us with our American space program. He worked at Redstone Arsenal in Huntsville, Alabama for many, many years. But I think that my grandparents met, and they were like, "Hey, I got a son, a useless son. Yeah, we got a worthless daughter. Let's get them together. Hey, that's how I got here. Ha ha." And yeah, it is what it is. I've never. In fact, let me just see here. Let me quick try to find it. I think I put it all up here. Yeah. Here it is. It's right up top, actually. This is. I don't know whether you can see it from the quality of the lighting. It seems like this is my grandfather's book. It's the Soldbuch, which every soldier had, which had their orders and all of their vital information in it. And yeah, there is my Großvater, right there in full uniform. He doesn't look too happy, but then again, I don't know. He seemed to be a fatalistic guy. All right, so it's still zooming there. Let me just see. I'm looking over here to see if that color came across. I mean, the lighting. Anyway, yeah, this is going to take a couple more minutes. In the closing. Let's see any other games that really struck me in life. Let me see here. I mean, I played a lot of games that sucked. But haven't we all? There was one called Freedom Force, and yeah, this was a just superhero sort of like strategy. It could be RTS. Basically, you could slow things down, and its main attraction was it had sort of a Stan Lee sort of vibe to it, and everything was like over the top. That sucked. I felt really sad playing that all the way through. Oh, man. I'm also a game that sticks in my mind. I'm trying to think. What was the game? Manhunt. Was that the game? Yeah, I played the original Manhunt. That was a game that made me physically ill. I mean, it was a pretty shocking experience. It was just not pleasant in any way. It was a game. Oh, by the way, to the new viewer, we're just waiting to upload stuff. After which I'm going to be gone. But let's see here. I'm talking about games that I played, so stick around for the next few minutes if you like. And by the way, again, like and subscribe if you wish. But yeah, Manhunt was thoroughly unpleasant, and I can't believe they did a sequel to it. That was just not good at all. Just trying to think any other ones that really. I mentioned Dark Age of Camelot. The original Fallout series, Fallout 1 and 2. 2 was the first Fallout game I ever played. Oh, we're getting a lot. This always happens. A lot of people tune in just at the very end. Such is life. By the way, if anybody wants to talk gaming, that's what I'm talking about now. While we're waiting for these files to upload in our version control here. Trying to think. Before that, when I was a kid, I could just say the Ultima 1, baby. Boy, I mean, I played it. I didn't even have a color monitor to play. I had it on the full green monitor. I don't know if they have any green screenshots, but boy, that was a great series. I played Ultima, the original Ultima, so much I literally wore the floppy disk out. That was an amazing game. I mean, it literally started you off in the medieval period, and by the end you were like into the space age. I mean, and it all fit on one freaking video disc. I mean, floppy disk, front and back. It was just amazing. And back then, I just want to talk about, I mean, the stuff. I really liked what they did back in the day with Feelies. Ultima 3 box. The stuff, when you got Ultima 3, or was it Ultima 4? Oh, it's Ultima 4. Let me see. Right? Yeah, question. I mean, check out all this stuff that came with it. It came with 3 different manuals. One of them was like, it had runes on the front and like it is faux leather stuff. That was just, you opened it, it was like, oh. And when I got it, by the way, my computer couldn't run it. I had to sell it to one of the people that I knew in school. But man, I consoled myself with just reading those manuals before I gave it over to him. But man, I just love stuff like this because it gave you this big map. It gave you just books and stuff. Those were the days. Goodness. But see, it's still reconciling. It's having to reconcile so much stuff. Sorry, guys, but just give it a couple minutes. I'm gonna be gone as soon as this. But oh yeah, I played the Ultima series. I played Ultima 1 and 2. I believe I skipped 3. I tried playing 4 and then I dropped it altogether. But the original Ultima, yeah, I really love that game. Ultima 2. It had Ultima 2. It just had really metal box art. Let me just see. Let me see. Ultima 2 box art. Yeah. Let me just see. Oh no, that was a shopping thing here. Images. Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah. Let's open. Open image, new tab. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. See, it had your futuristic guy coming out of like his like futuristic portal with like the old demon in the background. And this thing was just amazing, and its story. And here, it is the only game that I have ever played in which the developer had so much confidence in his story that he and his storytelling that he literally set you at a certain point in the game. The advice that you are told of where to go next is a dead end, and you have to figure out where to go by yourself. And see, now it's now sold for $750, baby. Check that out. And it was a fantastic game. Yeah, it came. I mean, you went to all the planets. I mean, literally, you started off in medieval times. You got a space. Oh boy, it was a great game. Uh, and and what you had to do at a certain point, you just realized, hell, I'm on my own. I have to figure it out on my own. Oh, hi, Wayne. Well, Wayne, thank you for tuning in, but I'm just waiting for a version control solution here to reconcile all the work that I've done over the last couple of days. I'm going to upload it and then I'm saying goodbye. I'm just talking about old games that I played, and hopefully, I don't know, I'm going to do that until this is done. Um, and I got to the point of talking about Ultima 2 because that was just a fantastic game. And what happened was you literally at that point when you were just sent to say you told for your next quest go to this person and talk to them, and you either can't find them or when you find them they're like I don't know what you're talking about. You literally have to just okay at that point you have to go to every town all over the world and just talk to everybody until you find some crazy guy who tells you, and I think it's a madman, like this, just like a crazy guy wandering the streets. And if you give him money, he tells you, go to these coordinates at this time, and it will take you to someplace amazing. And you do, and it takes you to far in the future in a post-nuclear world in the old Soviet Union, and you have to, as a single person, have to become powerful enough at that point to take on all the surviving Russian, basically the only surviving, government at that. I mean, I forget the lore, but you materialize in the old Soviet Union, and there's just one thing there, and amongst all the radioactive swamps, and is a space shuttle surrounded by, an army base, and you have to defeat all the people to get that shuttle, and then you're able to bring the story forward. Because, and in fact, that guy doesn't tell you, because then you take the shuttle to the other planets, and you have to go and figure out where you go from there. Again, it's so rare that a game literally has enough confidence in itself to let the narrative, provided just break down, and leave it up to the player to figure it out for themselves. And if I'm going to leave you with anything, Ultima 2, Revenge of the Enchantress, fantastic game. I mean, I love, and also that was the game, the version of Ultima. Your two emails. Did you send them to me personally? You probably sent them to Peace Island LLC. I don't see them. Let me just check. Hold on. I'm going to check over here because people don't need to see my email. Let's see here. Okay. Whoo! Okay. Hold on. Wayne. Sorry. Van? This is weird, Wayne. Wayne, I don't see. Maybe they were sent to my personal email. Tell me which. Did you send it to Peace Island LLC or to me personally at Blormick 1970? because I've been through all of our folders and I searched for your name. I don't see it there, and I'm wondering something don't seem right. Um, oh God, no! Why are you playing that? Bye bye. Okay. Here's the last thing I'm going to do tonight, and I'm going to submit these. But Wayne, this is odd. You say you sent something to me. I do not see, and that is unusual. Submit. Chunks. So submit. So I'm sorry, Wayne. Well, the thing is when I search through my Gmail, Wayne, it searches throughout the entire body of an email, and I search for Van as well, and it would isolate Van Verhuizen, Van Verhuizen as it would isolate that string within the name. It doesn't need it to be part of it, and that's why I'm saying we need to look into this. And that's something I'm not comfortable doing on live stream, Wayne. Are you on Discord right now, Wayne? Because you have been doing some really in-depth testing, and this is important. So, Wayne, please, if you're on Discord, let me know, and we can carry on this conversation there. Because I do want you did some good bug hunting there. Okay, tell you what, Wayne, give me about. I'm going to sign off here, and I try to say, Wayne, I'll see you there in a couple of minutes. I keep on saying at the end of these, I'm going to be here in 2 days, but unfortunately, some things creep in, and I'm not here every other day as I'd like to be. But my next live cast is going to be over on our Twitch because that's where other people tune in. So I'll be here again soon, and but anyway, you got to see me catch up with all the stuff that was lost over those days. So take care, everybody. See you later.